Hey there, this is Perch. Short little video. I think it's about putting things in perspective. So, I said at the beginning when I started this channel, I wasn't going to get into the social media wars, and by and large, I'm trying to fulfill that promise. Every now and then, the topic kind of strays there because social media and marketing and kind of how people talk to other people is intrinsically linked to everything with the fan community. We can talk purely about the comics. I can do reviews of issues, but the dialogue and the reaction around them is stuff you have to cover. But try not to get into the fights of all of it. The thing I wanted to say today was simply, it's very easy to get caught up in one problem, one argument, one dislike. And you'll use a recent example of Tom King and Batman and Heroes in Crisis, and Tom King doing something with a character with Wally West that people didn't like, that got them angry, got them feeling frustrated, and really kind of took out a lot of that anger on Tom King. And you can't. I think it's very important. This is the balanced view. This isn't this kind of milk toast, everyone's a good guy, let's all hug and be happy perspective. It's simply, I appreciate that the fans are upset. These are people, if you read a book, especially something where you're given a little piece every month for years, for decades, and you fall in love, or that's the wrong word, but you become attached to these characters. These characters are people who kind of, the emotion that you put into the comic. Maybe you're having a bad day. Maybe you're having a bad month. Maybe a lot of things are frustrating in your life with your job or with your relationship or whatever. And you're putting this emotion into the books you read. The books are escapism. The books are things that you enjoy as a way to take yourself out of some of the harder things in life. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you have a brand new baby, or you got a new job, or you succeeded at something at school or at work, and you have this celebratory moment, and you pick up this comic and you read it, and it kind of adds to that emotionally. This is what comics mean to us. It's why when we kind of close our eyes or think back on the comics we've read, the comics that are connected in some way to some event, something that happened in our lives are the ones that are the most powerful. We remember them. And so I think, a lot of the kind of ham-fisted reaction of, the fans should just chill out. Why do people get so involved with these characters? It's natural. It's natural to get involved in these stories, in these characters, in these myths, and these legends. It's how fans connect. And as comic publishers, writers, creators, shops, all of us, we want that connection. That connection is what bonds us to these properties and what ultimately connects us. So it's a good thing. If we didn't have that, we wouldn't have a comic market. We'd have people, going in to buy comics like they go in to buy toothpaste. It's just, a lonely product on a shelf. So it's reasonable for fans to get emotionally charged and upset and frustrated over the situation with Wally West and kind of the handling of Batman and how these characters are being handled. That's normal. But there's another side too. And the other side is that there's a human being. In this case, this is Tom King, but any writer who writes something that you don't like, that is trying to tell you a story. And they're doing it the best way they know how in most cases. I mean, I'm sure it's true that there are some writers out there who got this job, don't really want it, don't really care about it, we're too kind of lazy or egotistical to do any background or any research on the character, and just kind of crapped out a script for money. But the thing to remember is, it's not that much money. We're not talking, if you're completely dispassionate about what you do, comics is not typically where you land, because there's not enough money in it to just be able to casually just dump out scripts. I think it does happen that, creators have other things going on in their lives, and some scripts, some stories, some things they do have more thoughtfulness behind them than others. I think when Brian Michael Bendis was going through some health issues, it had an effect in his scripts at the time, his books. Again, I'm gonna put the favor in, or I'm gonna put the feeling in favor of Bendis. I mean, he should take care of his health problems. If survival and taking care of yourself results in a few bad comic scripts, I mean, that's a price I'm not Bendis, and that's a price I'm willing to pay. I think as decent human beings, we want people to be okay. But my point is that I don't Tom King. If you can say anything else about him, I don't believe he's sitting there just like, aha, I hate Batman secretly, and I hate Wally West, and I don't care about any of this, and I don't care about comics. Let's throw out this terrible script because screw it. That's not the guy. That's not who he is. I mean, and you can go with interview after interview after interview. You may not like what he does, and that, like I said before, that's normal. That's fine, and it's okay to get charged about it, to be really upset about some things he does because you care about those characters. But you need to be upset with the outcome, with the story, with the plot, with the characters, with his style. That's all cool, but not at the man. Because, it's ironic, I think, that's not the right word, but while a lot of social media and while what feels like hundreds of people were making videos about, SJW loser, Tom King, cuck, blah, 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 ruining Batman, all the rest. Meanwhile, Tom King was arranging a kind of private, secret USO trip over to the Middle East to go kind of meet some troops and hand out some comics and do all that. And I can tell you, as somebody who's taken a flight to that region, that sucks. I mean, you're not, but first of all, you are not flying the Emirates special first class private room coach. You're not even old Jim Lee, even all these people, they're not flying brilliant accommodations over to Dubai. They're flying, a flight, mostly like you and me. I've been on planes, by the way, many times, and I heard a reader come in and talk about, well, the comic creators are all in first class. No, sorry. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Joe Q flies that way. Maybe Didio. I don't know. I tend to doubt it. I have seen lots, and especially if you go into San Diego for or any of the cons, you see the people flying back, and I've seen dozens and dozens of creators at all levels, up and down. I saw Silvestri in his coach seat. I've seen lots of people, and anyway, the point is here. King made a point to go over with Jim Lee, talk to the troops, do a little tour there. And that's admirable. That's not something he had to do at all. And I kind of think about his mentality of he's arranging this trip. He's getting ready, packing it up, going to go over there, going to, try and do something that is, it's not charity, but it's, in that vein, trying to go do something for others. Meanwhile, Heroes in Crisis 9 drops and fans are just crapping all over the wreck of the character, the ruining of everything, how horrible he is. You gotta burn him at the stake. I mean, what a weird, I just try and put myself in the head of other people in these situations, and what a weird moment that must have been to be off doing this kind of in secret, and having this reaction back home. It makes you think a little bit. And I think that in comics, the thing that I think keeps us sane is that we have to look at situations and we have to say, okay, first, can we separate the story from the creator, or at least, the creator's talents? Can we do a little bit of that? Can we have not the creator's talent. If we can like a creator, I was not a fan of, let's put this out there. I was not a fan of Mark Bagley for a long time. Part of it is how he came onto books and where he came on in Spider-Man. And I had loved the Todd McFarlane era and other artists who had been on, Mike Zeck doing Kraven's Last Hunt and some of these, really, really good stories. And, I wasn't a fan of Bagley's style. And it took me several years to gain an appreciation for, the guy's a machine. He pumps out work. And then meeting him at a con, I'm like, wow, this is a really nice guy who is trying and, connecting with fans and doing all the things he should do. And what a great guy. And I gained more of an appreciation for his art style. Still not my favorite artist, but I will defend him up and down because I've watched him do a lot of things to try and grow the community and help comics and do things. And so I think it's fair game that I can say, yeah, not the biggest fan of his work, but I'm glad he's around. I'm glad he's doing comics. I'm glad he's helping. And you look at a guy like Tom King, and I can say, like I said in the videos, I don't think that Heroes in Crisis was the right story to tell right now. I think it was, confusing from a marketing message around what they were doing with Rebirth and all the rest. I understand they're moving the chess pieces around so we can get Wally reportedly into the Suicide Squad, and that's fine. That's how DC wants to move pieces around, and I can say I don't like that move. I don't like the way it was done. But at the same time, I think I can say, and you can go as far, I can say Tom King's writing is not for me. The way he writes his stories, it's a style and a pace and other things that it doesn't work for me with some of these characters. And I think it's possible to leave it there and not kind of take it that extra step by going, Tom King is this and that and 800 other things and must be destroyed. I think there has to be a separation there between, acknowledging good things that the guy does and, saying this story isn't for me. I think that's sanity. And I think that's something that, as comic fans, as people who are reading comics, I think we've got to try and find that line and social media makes it hard. Social media encourages us to blur that line, to basically, get personal with the creators and get things. And the creators are culpable in that, just like the fans. The creators are quick to, block or praise certain behaviors over others. And so, it's a shared problem. It's not, as I kind of started at the beginning, it's not just, the fans need to lighten up on the creators. It's not that at all. It's a two-way street that has to be established. And I think that, like I said, lots of motivation for it not to be. Lots of reasons why within social media they want attachment. It's the whole algorithm and the whole business model of social media is to get people overly attached to things. That's how presumably they make money someday. But as comic fans, I think, looking back over the last couple of weeks, taking a deep breath and just saying, hey, it's okay to not like a story. It's okay to not like a writer's style. It's okay to, not buy something that you like or that you don't like, or buy something that you do like. And you can do all those things without having to go all in on somebody who, for all we know, like King, was off doing a pretty admirable thing. And so you gotta give him credit for that. Anyway, that's my take on it. That's the crazy world of comics and social media and creators and getting to know people and on it goes. It's a tricky time for all of us. But hey, let me know what you think. What's your comment? Leave me a comment below. Let me know where I'm off base, wrong, should be more angry, whatever. Like, subscribe, click the bell for notification. Thanks for listening.